Well,
There we go.
lucky you
There we go,
noticed
man.
that.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Hey,
Perfect.
everybody, I've just had a full conversation with everybody, said hello, wished you happy Thanksgiving, and then Maurizio said you haven't started, Ian. I said, oh, okay. There we go. Let's hope that the session improves.
Hey
So
guys, how you doing?
I wanted to have a look at some stuff on the BEC daily chart today. Obviously, it's the end of the month, so the monthly is very important, but we'll go to you for that more macro view.
Hmm.
So this was Monday, November the 3rd, and then we broke down from here. We had this
Hmm.
relief rally, and then effectively we had this straight shot down, and then there was this huge volume of selling that was done,
Hmm.
before price kind of closed here. And the sellers, really blew themselves out. The next day, we see that volatility starts dropping, and the amount of sellers, people that want to sell, like that's just it's not there. So the buyers step in, but even at those prices, they can't really muster much of an effort. There's still below average buying volume while volatility is decreasing. And then the next day, when we do get above average volume, that's not really, I'm trying to think of a good word, it's like, well, it's not really the kind of bullish candle that you want to see, is it? For use of a better word.
Hmm.
So then we start moving sideways, but we start dropping in volume at the same time that we're dropping in volatility. So
Yep.
that to me translates as prices like both sides are like, yeah, price is okay at the moment. It's not too much, it's not too little, and we're in this kind of equilibrium, this kind of sort of sidewards type of period. And, these can lead to explosive moves once that volatility keeps compressing. But obviously, we don't know which direction that we would that we
Exactly.
that we would get
Exactly.
that move
Yeah.
in. We can obviously look at higher time frame charts. Something like 93, the uh, the yearly. The yearly close, whatever number that is. Yeah, so 93,391, like that's sorry, I've wandered off track there, but now I've lost everything. Here we are, here we are, here we are. You know, so we there's a classic retest pattern there as well. You could have got a just about a 2 hour trade in if you'd taken that lowest low in 10 bars, higher close, lower close, and then
Hmm.
put your entry above there. Um, But yeah, interesting. And then, we've just looked at the open interest and we've seen all these. Well, I was like, Maurizio, there's liquidations, and you were like, yep, yep, send a month price action. So it's been a busy candle, like for the last
Hmm.
hour. Like it's
Hmm.
been a very busy start, and we've got all the monthly stuff, and now, now, here's the exciting bit, right? Crypto total market cap. I'm
Hmm.
basing my entire we're going to have an alt season on this.
Hmm.
This is now my new favorite metric. When we touch this red line, we get a nice bounce, okay? So what does this red line represent in Ian's head coming up here?
Hmm.
A generational bottom for these altcoins. And then we
Hmm.
get either a bounce, whee, or
Hmm.
and crypto's pretty much finished. So
Yep.
that's why I'm bullish on what I'm seeing in altcoins
Hmm.
and whether altcoins can like it's this relationship with BTC and altcoins that's
Hmm.
changing.
Hmm.
So and I'm really going like off piste and making stuff up here. Let's say that we get a relief rally with Bitcoin. We obviously don't make any new all-time highs. Do we have to have that before we can see some altcoin action, or can Bitcoin just fizzle away and we still see altcoin action? So
Hmm.
there's all these kind of like in that sort of, oh my God, I've ended up with asking, thinking one thing and ended up with like 50 different answers, which I think is a good place to hand over to you because one of the
No,
things that we
no,
talk about
I'm
quite a lot is,
completely confused, man. No, I'm
I know
completely
exactly,
confused.
it's overwhelm,
All
isn't
right.
it? It's total overwhelm, It's like,
Shit. Yeah, it is. All right, let's take it easy. Let's take it simple. And because I think you're thinking too much. And there is a few things that probably I'm gonna throw a curveball for you. Okay.
oh God.
And always like this is something that I always try to do. Sorry, just give me 1 second. My dog is give me 1 second. 1 second. Continue on. Okay.
That's okay.
All right. All good. Now it's
That's,
out. Okay. Sorry.
it's,
All
yeah.
right. So every time that you see a chart or you use something, you have to ask yourself, what is the meaning of that? Okay. Like, like Bitcoin dominance, like the total cap, and how is that make like what I mean? Let me just share. Let me just share my screen,
Mm,
and,
mm.
I think it'll be easier for me to answer that question because and you guys see my screen?
We
So
can. Yeah.
let's talk about total three. So we have orders, we have the total three minus whatever. Let's talk about orders, which is basically crypto total market cap excluding top 10, right?
Mhm.
You meant, let me just bring this to the daily. You do have some stuff there in terms of lines and things like that. In my view, we have to be kind of careful, especially using the total three and the orders and things like that. And you have to ask yourself why. So here's my definition of the total three. So the orders charts. This is a combination of all the crypto tokens right now. Okay. But you have to know inside these things, there's a lot of them that are pumping and there's a lot of them that are dropping. It's a balance. Okay. Before it was quite easy to actually read the orders and the total tree because the amount of tokens wasn't that many. And if alt pump, they all pump at once. Now we have a different behavior with the amount of tokens that we do have. So that's kind of the only, this is to give you like an idea of where the whole market is at. But that doesn't mean that, we do have some outliers that are doing 100%, and we have some of them that are dropping 100%. So obviously from that perspective, this is going to maintain. So this is like an overall health of alts, but that doesn't mean that uh, the whole alt ecosystem is going to go out. I'm still thinking that we're going to go into narratives, which it has been proven for the past year, technically, that everything doesn't pump at the same time. You do have, the AI and then the DeFi and then RWA, stuff like that, you know what I mean, that are pumping. Is going to be a time that everything is going to pump at the same time. But I do believe that you do need liquidity to get that done. So in order to get that done, we do need strength, Bitcoin and strength of Ethereum, which we haven't had yet. So Ethereum hasn't had all-time highs yet. You know what I mean? So obviously that's kind of the mindset that I'm at the moment, right? In terms of, so that's every time that you use something, if you don't understand the intricacies, don't use it. Use only the stuff that you, if it's only Bitcoin or it's only dominance or is it that you understand, just use that. You know what I mean? But then
Mhm.
have in mind that all this stuff, you know what I mean, is getting less reliable from that perspective. Because yeah, we do have pumps here, and we can go through because I did a little bit of work on that in terms of, of every single pump. Not all the alts pump. Maybe, on this bump, some of alts went 100%, some of them don't went 10%. So that's kind of the thing that we need to I still use it in a way to give me a gauge of where everything is at, but then don't rely 100% on it. You know what I mean? So what I mean is, I don't know if you guys saw my video on Friday, and on Friday, let's start with Bitcoin, because on Friday I was very tempted to actually short everything. I don't know. I think some people actually got some shorts in. I don't know if you did it. I think Trevor was Travis. Yeah, I think Travis put in there. He got some shorts open. I was very tempted. I say I was going to, but then over the weekend I wasn't going to be around, so I did not want to monitor stuff. But everything look. I don't know if you short it because of the video or you short it because you didn't want to short. But then shorting was the best option. Why? Let's go through what I mentioned on Friday. So let's start with Bitcoin, right? So this was the price action up until Friday. This was Thursday, and that's Friday, right? So I did. We mentioned that we still sort of in a bearish condition. We haven't broken structure to the upside, and in order to break that, we do need liquidity, right? And due to the fact that it's end of the month, we had Thanksgiving weekend on in the US. So obviously we had a holiday on Thursday and we had half day of New Year session on Friday. There was a highly likelihood that that liquidity wasn't there. Therefore, the liquidity left. If you think about it, people that are shorting, that are going long here, on any sort of opportunity to take some profits, they might take some profits. You know what I mean? So is that what happened here? Probably, you know, or probably new shorts opening. So that was sort of my bias towards the weekend. Okay, so that played out in a way, right? So obviously this morning, before the end of the month closed, because obviously it's the 1st of December, but we still the first of December in Australia, but in New York it hasn't, and the month hasn't finished yet, right? It's going to finish tonight, my time. I know I get all frustrated. So that's basically was my thesis to actually short this thing. I didn't go into any trades or anything like that. I'd rather stay put. But let's go through what is you know, what the market is going to give us, perhaps. So let me ask you guys: are you guys a bullish, bearish? Where you at? Where you guys at with this price action? Do you think it's going to go lower? Do you think it's going to go higher? Do you think it's going to range? Let's go through that and yeah. So yeah, it's a bearish range, range hope, bearish, down a little more. Yeah, I wouldn't be taking too many longs, right? Wait, short, down, range. Interesting, interesting. Okay. So ultimate bullish. So yeah, okay. So Todd, but normally I'm bullish. Yes. Okay. So we are kind of on the same sort of mindset, right? So I don't know if you guys been long enough here. So I'm happy to see that we're not as bullish as we usually are. You know what I mean? Because obviously we do have certain confluences that I'm seeing that I'm still bullish, but I'm cautiously bullish. Let's start from the macro stuff, right? In terms of things that I'm seeing. So first of all, let's start with the monthly. So I did talk about the monthly on Friday. And this is, let's go through the monthly charts first. Okay, so monthly, right? We closed at 89, below 90, right? But from the monthly perspective, we start breaking structure from this side of things, right? It's not fully bullish. This could be this. We did talk about it, last week. This could turn into higher low, right? So we have a higher low here, higher low. So we haven't sort of broke, like the full break of structure is going to be here from the monthly perspective at 74,000. So if we break this, probably we're going to start bleeding down definitely to 48,000, right? Give it a take. So we're still bullish, but we sort of broke this small sort of bullish pattern. So in order to confirm a bullish pattern here, we do need another month to close, right? We cannot actually make that decision from this month only. As you can see, this one here, that was on February. So February we had a bearish month, then another month that sort of consolidated a few things, and then the next month, right, he started going crazy, and that's kind of the the trend continuation sort of pattern thing, right? Same thing here. Like think it from that perspective. So we had bearish right here. This one tried to actually break that structure, and what I mean in terms of structure is where the lowest of the month has been, technically, right? So, and this one tried, but this one sort of, so it's a price action that comes into candles of 3 of 2, give or take. So if you look from the macro perspective, right, we're talking about 3 months, kind of, right? So obviously, that's why I say, patience sometimes, because markets haven't decided yet, which way it's gonna go, right? We do have some possibilities going bullish, but I always keep the possibility of the bearish side of things, right? And then we just assess how it goes. So until I see fully bullish structure, I don't gonna go long on alts heavily. That's kind of something to keep in mind. Yes, we might miss the price action towards the upside, but if we are thinking about it from the perspective that if we are really on a bullish structure market, then once we go in, there's a higher possibility that we keep going to the upside. And therefore, yeah, we might miss 20-30% on alts or even 100% on alts, but once we become bullish, then we just gonna go nuts, in terms of alts, right? So probably that's kind of my what I'm waiting for, right? But obviously we need to play it really slow in a way. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at in terms of Bitcoin from the monthly perspective. Now let's do the weekly, right? Which basically today is a really good day because we had a monthly close and we had a weekly close, right? So from the weekly close, now what are we seeing here? Are you guys seeing a bullish structure, bearish structure? What do you guys see? Just from the weekly. This is the weekly, and obviously we could preempt that how the month is going to close by the weeklies or by the dailies. You know what I mean? But then obviously I like to start from month top down, and then build the thesis. From smaller time frames towards the upside, right? And yeah. All right, so Tom T says, so we have bear, we have trending up. See, yeah, consolidate. Okay, now we starting to see a little bit of discrepancies in your thinking, right? So before we were, from the daily, everything looked very clear, but now see where things are differing. A lot of people say, trending or bear or consolidating or wire low. So we have different. This is where the price action gets really interesting. The weeklies, where a lot of the bigger players make the decisions, the weekly and the daily. So from this perspective, let's analyze what we're seeing here, right? So we could have a potential of a higher low. So that's right here. So we have a higher low right here. We have a higher low right here. Does it has to be this week, the next week or the week after? We have no clue. All right. We need to go down to the daily to actually figure out if the price is going to maintain that level. Okay. So because something like this could happen, check this out. So this weekly, that happened on February. So we have this price down here, then in here in these two candles. So let me just go the replay mode, and that looked beautiful, right? Wouldn't you agree that that's a beautiful pattern? That's a higher low, beautiful, man. Like, well, let's go all long and stuff like that. Then next week happened, and another bullish week. Then next week, oh no, hold on, that I'm just the replay is need to configure just by going on weeklies. doing dailies. But this is what happened, right? Anyway, let me just stop it. And all right. So next week, bang, we finish bearish, and next week we finish bearish. We cleared these lows, right? And then the trend started massively after we sort of, sweep those lows right here. Can that happen here? That's what I'm waiting for, to be honest. Okay, so this is something, this is a setup that if it happens, I'm going long, right? Why? Based on pretty much, from the weekly perspective, bottoms usually take a little bit longer to form, that people realize. And in crypto, the psychology is like, let's buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And then a lot of people get liquidated and things like that. So if you think about it from that perspective, this is, here's happened exactly the same, right? You try to get up, bang, clear these lows, and here we go again. So this one took 3 attempts. Give or take, no, one cleared the low, and then another couple of extra weeks. Here it happened in 2 attempts, right? So that's kind of the price action they're waiting from the weekly to go heavily on outs. Okay, that can happen this week. It could happen next week, or it could never happen. You have to, not because I say waiting to happen, but if it happens, therefore it's a setup that I've been waiting for. Therefore, these are thesis that I'm building. Therefore, I'm going to go long heavily on that. You know what I mean? That hope that makes sense, right? So obviously you build what you're waiting for. So obviously, that's kind of a thesis that I'm building from that perspective. Okay. So from here, that's the level that I'm waiting for, right? 80,000, give or take. How far are we going to get down that level? Who knows? So let's go back down to the daily, right? And from the daily, right? So that's the level that I'm waiting for, the 74. So if I'm bringing up all my thingies, right? Okay, so remember last week that we did this, these two sort of scribbles, right? And essentially, now I'm looking at the liquidity. This is a small liquidity. This is the level of liquidity that actually came this week. So on a break of this, like if we got a sweep like this from this week on, I think it's not a bad idea to go long, right? Like something like this, right? It's not a bad idea to go long, targeting 100K. That's the level that a lot of people are looking for, that level to short again, right? So if we do have a bounce, I think 100K will be a very interesting level to take profit. Do we gonna have continuation? Who knows, man? We have to. That's something that I'm now playing level by level. I'm looking into every single level to see what is the reaction of price at that level, because it could be a massive amount of shorts building up at 100. And then if we do have enough buyers to clear those shorts, then price is going to keep moving up. If not, then price will bounce from that 100K level. But if we do have sort of this kind of price action, more than likely we might reach that level. You know what I mean? That's kind of in terms of the possibilities that I'm seeing. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of my idea. All right, and so Diana asks, what is the 60K faint line? 60K, yes. So let's talk about that option, because if we start breaking this level here, right, which is the 76, give it or take, 76, 74, there is a highly likelihood that we're going to drop massively here. There's no liquidity between these 2 points, between the 48,000 all the way down to, 48,000 will be the next one. So obviously, if Bitcoin does this, it goes all the way down to 52, which is a possibility as well, right? Alts are going to get hammered, man, hammered. But what I want to highlight is this, if we do get to 48, I think it will be a really good opportunity to get spot heavily. You know what I mean? Like think about it from that perspective. Where are the massive players willing to? I'm thinking about from the perspective that Bitcoin still is an asset that is institutional heavily traded. So where do you think players are going to come along heavily? That's the question that you need to do. They're not going to come in at 124 or 134 in all-time highs. They definitely want to come in heavily at discount prices, right? And what's the discount price? Who knows? We just need to figure out if the players are willing to pay 76 or are willing to pay 86. And if they're not, more than likely are they willing to pay 52? But this is a really good area for them to start heavily, go heavily. And could be, so I have these three levels played out. I'm not saying, we're definitely going to go to 52 or we're definitely going to 76. We need to assess, if price are going to hold level by level as we go. But then the highly likelihood game that I want to play is if this happens, so I have two main setups that I'm thinking. First is this one here. We cleared this area, which is we have the year level here that we did mention 2 weeks ago, but now this is the price that is being respected indefinitely. So we clear this area right here, and then we, get some sort of price action towards the upside. I will definitely go long, right? Probably a stop loss below 80 something or even below this low, targeting 100K. And if we start getting sort of acceptance of Bitcoin getting higher and higher, and then I start doing some alts, not heavily, but if I'm seeing recovery of Bitcoin going higher, right, then I think alts are going to go nuts, right? Until Bitcoin reaches this level. Okay, so obviously be mindful that, maybe alts are not going to the moon. Maybe some of them will. But if we get another bounce back towards 100K, again, alts are going to. So that's the game that I think is going to be very attractive to play, and it's very short time trading. Can this happen in 1 month? In 1 week, 1 day? You could have a candle that actually hits the 100 and come back. Same thing. So obviously, be very, very aggressive with the take profits. We will be very, very aggressive with trading if we do trade out. So that's kind of the game that I'm playing. It's been tough to actually get the 100 coin, that go and keep going and keep going and keep going. And until we start breaking bullish structure, then I'm just going to start taking profits. There's going to be a lot of short time trading. If until we get a better structure set of deals. So that's kind of what I'm saying. And why do I see that this level is important? It's not because of the candles. What do you guys think? What other stuff do we see to check in order for us if we do have confluence around these levels here? Anyone? I think we go through this every single week, man. Volume, I don't see volume. There we go, Marlon. Thank you, CVD. Let's have a look at CVD. So, Mike, CVD is still, from my perspective, is still the biggest sort of indicator that is out there to give you. But CVD on spot, okay? Don't use CVD on, CVD on the actual spot volume. Why spot? And by the way, this is very, and I just want to clarify because there's a few people using this as well on alts. And it's not that effective on alts. Think about it from the perspective of alts. It's a very quick game, especially right now, the way it's heading. But Bitcoin and Ethereum is a different game in terms of institutionals. So when you actually see a lot of CVD spot volume buying, that means a lot of people are buying and holding in a way, right? But on alts, this could get a little bit choppy But if you see stuff like, and I think it works really well on SUI or majors, you know, when you see that people are accumulating, right? This is kind of a really good indicator for that. So let's go and make this is smaller. And all right. So which level did we say around the level I'm looking for to get that between 86 and 85, give or take, right? So in here, right, this low here is 80, but you can actually see that the main amount, like the holders, came around this level here, right? So 83 and then keep going up and going up. So this is a really good area of holders, you know, spot holders. If we start breaking this area and you start seeing a lot of this, then we're going down, man. And then that would be a really good quick short that you can actually play it out, right? If we start breaking this heavily, because this could be another setup as well. Let me just delete all this crap, man. That is a lot of shit here. Hold on. So we have this as a possibility. And now if we do something like this, right? That's the other possibility. Then more than likely we want to clear these lows, right? So the next target could be here. So that could be another trade, right? Long here or short here, give or take. That's it, as simple as that. It's not simple, but you can make it simple, right? But that could be another possibility, right? Then it lines up with our CVD value here. So if we start clearing, you know, these buyers, so people that bought here, you know, massive amount of CVDs being accumulated at that area. Why? Because you don't see this coming down heavily. You see accumulation, but you start seeing that every time that we go kind of up, you know, more people are sort of getting closing positions. Okay, so this is the area that I'm looking to get into. So if we come down to this area right here, so different setups, right? Come down to this area right here and we do that same thing and we do have confluence with CVD, then that'll be my setup. All right. Very, very good setup is you do have like, we could have something like this. CVD maintaining, price action dropping, clearing those lows, right? Then liquidations are going to come in, and these kind of those are like a V shape. So that's, you know, it's basically shorts targeting this liquidity area, gets everybody out, and then that could be a really new trade to be open. But essentially, we just need to be open to all those opportunities. So yeah. So to summarize, those are the levels. Now that I have confluence, I'm not looking at the CVD like constantly. I'm just gonna see what the price will do if we get here. Now, can we bounce out of this level here? Yes. Now, that will be the other option. If we reclaim this level here, then I will look for another long, targeting the 100K. You know what I mean? So this is my ideal trade, right? Option one. But option two, we could have something like this as well. Right now, I have no idea which way is going to head out. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the in terms of the small time frame stuff that we can play out, right? And if we do get sort of like an upside, then I'll be looking into get into some alts for a recovery again. Okay, so another bounce, bang. Okay, so yeah. So far, that's what I'm saying. That's the thesis I'm building. And like I say, guys, can I be wrong? Yes, definitely. But based on price action, based on the CVD, those are the levels that I'm watching, and that could play out like that. And for the record, if you look for the last couple of webinars, you know, we do have a good, you know, every sort of setup that we sort of said it played out, right? We haven't taken the trades on all of them, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment.
Well,
Ian,
thank
you
you.
have any questions, friend, so far? Or do you guys have any questions?
Oof. Yeah. Is it going to go up or down?
Let me call out my let me I have some cards, some tarot cards around here, man. Yeah, so man, technically it looks okay. I'm bullish biased, but I'm looking for good entries, you know what I mean? To get into the market. But something that I'm watching is as well the behavior of all the odds, like all the majors. So let's have a look at Ethereum because Ethereum is interesting as well. So those are the scribbles that we did on Friday or last week. Okay.
Mm.
So this level, very important, very important. The 3,000-ish level, not the exact 3,000, but I think I think the 3,100 very important.
Yeah.
Felt, I did mention this on Friday, man. I wish I showed it, but with shorts, I really like to be on top of them. There's nothing that I short and just leave. And due to the fact that on the weekend I didn't have time to monitor the trades, I didn't go into it. But I did mention a few shorts opportunities to take. This one was Bitcoin was one of them, and CAS was another one. But based on the fact that, yeah, I saw a lot of rejection out of this level, and end of the month, same deal, man, same thesis. That wouldn't be a really great short. And where we at the moment, pretty much the same freaking pattern as Bitcoin. But the only difference with Ethereum is that it looks like shit from the CVD perspective. Check this out.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So no one is buying, man. No one is buying. See the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum from the CVD perspective? Like everybody's just dumping their spot in a way, right? Check this out. Non-stop, right? So I do think that we're gonna go lower. So, bullish condition comes with you have Bitcoin buyers coming in, Ethereum buyers coming in, Solana buyers coming in. Everybody's like, fuck, man, we're going to miss the train. And it looks like no one is missing the train here, man. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's why I think we're not there yet. Could I be completely? That's why I'm waiting for that drop on Bitcoin to actually get long.
Mhm.
Because if you analyze from the macro perspective, unless we do have Trump coming in speaking tomorrow and then saying something heavily positive on crypto, and then everybody now starts buying, you will see that reflection here in the CVD anyway. You'll see price action going along. You'll see Bitcoin CVD coming through as well. You see all the majors, BNB, all the sort of stuff coming through. Then you start seeing, okay, so there is risk appetite for this, for crypto. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Can that happen tomorrow? Yes, but until that happens, then I'm not there yet. The only trade that I'm looking to get is actually Bitcoin on that dump if we have it. So yeah, we do have good catalysts though in terms of the AI infrastructure in the US. It looks like there's a lot of AI investment, and that's going to there's a lot of good infrastructure on crypto and AI. It's a good confluence, so that could actually be positive for the market. And if it's a lot of infrastructure from the think about it from if it is a lot of investment in the US trigger the AI ecosystem in stocks, that's going to translate into crypto into more risk assets, sort of going nuts at some point. So that's actually positive, but I'm not seeing that reflection on the price action yet. You know what I mean? So I keep it on the back of my head. I'm still bullish, but we could have a little bit of a drop. Now, remember as well, another thing to remember, end of the month, beginning of the month, pretty freaking volatile. Okay, you could because people are getting out or buying. You know what I mean? The bulls are buying, the shorts are selling. It could get volatile. So at least for the 3, 4 days, I don't like to get any big decisions. I might get some trades here and there, but then obviously have that in mind. Yeah. Oh, Dennis, good appreciation there. We have the rate cut sort of meeting coming up. Is that going to be a rate cut? It's not. There's a 50-50. If you go to, what is it, the prediction market? Should have it here. This prediction market, it says 80% that we're going, 80%. I saw that this morning that we're going to have a rate cut. And if we do, definitely that's going to pump the markets. So we could get a really volatile beginning of the week. So yeah, so that's kind of in a nutshell what I'm seeing. If we look at the spaghetti charts, let's go on the spaghetti charts to see where we are in terms of as a whole. Oh, Ian.
Hello.
So I think the spaghetti charts is a better appreciation of the total tree ecosystem of the total tree because if you have you have a look at the total tree, but then you go into here. Let me just reload the tab. Okay. Then you go into your spaghetti charts by sector. You're gonna notice what things are pumping and what things are dumping. So when you see everything up, then you trust total tree. You know what I mean? That's kind of that could be another sort of intricacy of the total tree that you jump into here and say, because you could see with the total tree that you could see an average value, but you could see maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 memes going nuts, like going 300%, and everything else is dead. So that's something that I wouldn't trust because obviously, memes or any other token or no liquidity, market makers could be pumping that up, and because total tree is just the average of price, right, of everything. That's when it gets funny. You know what I mean? So that's the extra step that I will do probably to use the total tree as a really good level. So if you see, for instance, that your total tree, you have your values, right? You have your values and others, and you notice that this is the line of the sand. And if you see that everything else keeps just dropping, then or bouncing at a certain level, then you're right on your, you know what I mean, on your sort of levels on total tree kind of thing. That's what I will. That will be an extra step that I will do with total tree and the others chart sort of deal.
Very interesting.
Yeah, Pippin, I know. But this thing, man, I looked at it last week. Let me show you this fucking thing because it is. Pippin is an AI thingy. This is the daily. One day it went up. This thing is very like a lot of manipulation here. There's one day that went up on a Sunday 189% and actually came down the same day, right? So this could be a lot of market makers, targeting this thing to drop at some point. Now, that's why I don't like to play it. It's very liquid from that perspective. Very easy for a market maker to pump it, right? And then when they're done, they're just gonna dump it. But the problem with this is that if you want to short these things, that's what a lot of people are waiting for, to short the hell out of this thing. But those shorts, if the market maker is pumping those up, those shorts are getting liquidated and it's going to inflate the price even more. So very tough game to play, man, to be honest. No, I don't know. I'm going to do more research, Marlon. I have no idea. But check this out. I was looking at Pippin the other day, but it's a really high risk on those ones. All right, check this out. We could get closer to a short on this thing based on the open interest, right? So the problem with this, if a lot of people are shorting and the market maker doesn't release it, then this thing is going to keep moving up. At some point, right? This thing is gonna drop. I guarantee it, right? But I don't know which level, which is the hard game to play. You know what I mean? But by the looks of it, right? By the look, and look at this. This is why I mean, look at the amount of short liquidations to the upside. See, a lot of people are shorting at these levels, and they get liquidated. Like the market maker just keep fucking inflates that. That's how they make money, man. You know what I mean? And in here, it's just a non-stop open, you know what I mean? Bam, 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 bam. And here starts closing heavily. But what is closing is shorts, right? So I do think that we're getting closer, but I will need to do a little bit more research on this one. But I think this one is getting inflated. So at some point we might see a little bit of a drop here, which will be ideal to get. But then bear in mind that playing this game, you can get it stopped out 3 or 4 times, and then all of a sudden, bang, things drop like in one freaking candle, man. You know, or we might never. The game of manipulation works like this. The market makes it starts to sort of inflating the price, and then retail comes in, you and me, right? And then perhaps there is something that they know that the token is going to release that I think is attractive, and then might have continuation, and this thing never drops, right? Or it's just a freaking scam, and then things is gonna drop. That's the trickiest thing that no one knows. We need to bring the freaking crystal ball here, man. But this is not the game that, Also, I'm tempted, but I'm tempted, but you know what I mean. If you play this game, just try to don't risk too much, and if you lose, you lose. That's fine. Put your stop loss, and that's fine. But it looks tempting, to be honest, to short this thing, man. Very tempting, especially if we get a drop of Bitcoin and Ethereum, right, towards this level. I think that could be an attractive proposition. But I think it's better options out there, man, that playing that game. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's fun. Yeah. I don't like to see, I like to see when things played out as we sort of slowly go and done. And this is kind of gambling in a way. It's fun. But you know what? I think this is very close to, I think I'm gonna show them it. Now you put it on you guys put it on my radar, and now I'm gonna have to show this shit, man. Anyway, never mind. All right. So yeah, that's in essence what I mean. So let's go through some alts and stuff that I'm watching. Same thing last week, guys. INA. So I'm still watching INA. This is the level that I was going to get last week, and I decided not to. So now this is very, very similar to Bitcoin. So, and Ethereum, more than likely. So INA, very Ethereum related, correlated. So I'm watching that one. Hype. So let's go through this one because it's important. Yeah, Hype released. There is a bunch of tokens that are being released to the team, right? So are they going to sell, or are they not going to sell? So if they sell, more than likely we're going to have a little bit of a drop. Ideally, if we do, probably 26 could be a really good area to actually get into at some point. But if they don't sell, right, then very strong positive price action for these ones. How do you know if they sell or not? There is a website or a Telegram group. This one, I'll put in the chat. MLM on chain, right? It's a Telegram group that they track how many sellers. It could get very confusing, so obviously use it as your own discretion. But it sort of tracks everything on chain in terms of how many tokens, the supply, how many are selling, how many are buying. And it could get very confusing, but I don't want to get into these ones. But if you do want to play the game, this one is I'll post the link on. Let me just put this link in the chat, and that's Telegram group. So yeah, there you go. So that's one way. So yeah, those are the ones that are actually watching. I'm watching a bunch of different things just to all the DeFi, just the regular suspects, obviously Asta, I'm looking at Monad. So Monad, Monad, man, what I found, it would be a really great short, man. Monad, a lot of people were waiting for the Monad token, stuff like that. This thing drop. So I'm still waiting to see when people stop selling and, to start buying kind of in a way. So I think it's just a game. So another interesting opportunity that I've been doing some research this morning is this one, Kinetic. Yes, this one. Okay, let me explain this one and why I think it could be an interesting opportunity. So let me just put in the chat. Okay, so Kinetic is the first liquid staking protocol on Hype. For those ones that don't understand what liquid staking is, essentially, and this is basically what Pendle did a while back with Ethereum. There's a lot of the liquid staking game. Essentially, you stake. You have hypes, right? You have hype tokens, and then you stake them. And then this one will. But the problem with the staking is that you're not able to use that money. Correct? You basically, when you stake something, then you're not able to use that money. Liquid staking, in the other hand, you stake, but they give you the staking token back that you can trade with. So it's like a double dipping sort of deal. Okay, you can use your stake. It looks like it's a stake, but you can use your liquid staking to trade in the market. So it's a very interesting concept, right? So these guys are the ones that actually are the first liquid stake platform for Hype. It works on Hype. You cannot actually buy it on any exchange yet, but I think that it could be an interesting proposition when the market hits up. Well, this is going to be very correlated with Hype, by the way. If we do have a drop on Hype, don't expect this token to do well, but on Hype going crazy again and markets going crazy, I think this one could actually work really well. The only place that you can actually buy it, obviously, is a Hyperliquid and is KNTQ. The token, it was launched on a couple of days ago, on the 27th of November. But bear in mind that it's going to be very correlated with the performance on Hype. Okay, so I'm looking at this one as a good proposition because it's a lot of people that want to stake Hype, but there is the only option that you can have liquid staking, which is the same thing that Pendle and things do. So did a while back. So this one could get really, really hot very quick. One Hype actually comes back up. So yeah, besides that, Marlon, USDH is the stable coin of Hyperliquid. So it's same thing as USDC, same thing as USDT. So now Hype has USDH, which is their own stable coin. Okay, so that's USDH. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Todd. Yes. Yeah. CP. There's gonna be volatility around, obviously. That's why I think there's going to be a lot of short-term opportunities instead of long-term. So that's what I'm aiming for. And if you guys want to play the game, I think we could do really good small trades here and there. But then, yeah, I would not sort of get positioned heavily on long-term stuff yet. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what I'm seeing, guys. So I don't know if you guys have any questions or yeah.
Amazing roundup today, Maurizio.
All right. So I think Holy Markets, yeah, could be forced to. Yep, correct. Yes, Todd. So that's why I'm staying cool. By the way, and these times, I think it's not a bad idea if you guys keep doing the airdrop thing with the airdrop opportunities. I think especially the DeFi platforms that we mentioned 2 weeks back, or I know 4 weeks back, is worth keep doing this on slow movements. You know what I mean? Especially the extent, the one that I keep doing those things. Just do 1 trade, 2 trades a day, and then you create volume. And you don't need to make money. You just need to place a trade. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Just a flip of a coin, man. Just buy Bitcoin at 10x and sell it in 1 second and then short it. And then if you do make 1 cent, that's good if you do, but you creating volume. And if you do get an airdrop, then you get an airdrop. You know what I mean? And if you more than likely, it looks like airdrops on the 2026 for DeFi protocols are going to be healthy. So probably next call we can actually talk about more like in detail about that if you guys want. So let me know, and then we'll adjust accordingly.
Nice.
Salvador, there is a spreadsheet that we let me just post the spreadsheet and 1 second, and then we'll call it a day. Where is the spreadsheet? 1 second. Yeah, this one. Hold on 1 sec. All right, I'll put the spreadsheet in the chat. Right, that's the spreadsheet. Go through those. The ones highlighted blue are the ones that still have opportunities. I think the other ones I haven't gone through it yet, but those are the ones that I'm doing technically. All right.
Great stuff, Maurizio.
All right. Have
See
a
you
great
all
day,
in
guys.
break. Ta-da.
Bye bye.